All right, you guys, happy Thursday. Welcome back and welcome to beautiful Kauai. So today, being here in Kauai inspired the title of this video, Why Building Valuable Skills is the Key to Freedom. All right, so number one, why do we even want freedom in the first place? And I think the answer to that for a lot of us is we think that we just want to quit our jobs and be able to go hang out on a beach. And ironically, even though I'm in Hawaii, that's not why I wanted to build freedom for myself, and that's not why you should want to build freedom either. I think for most of us, it goes a little deeper, but ultimately it comes down to having control over our time and options, being able to do what we want when we want. And really to make things and to do things that fulfill us and to make us feel like we're actually living life and not just going through life. I think freedom is a lot more emotional and mental than it is financial. And that's hard for us to grasp because I think all of us want more money. But when it comes down to it, if we have a job that we love and if we're doing what we love day to day, then we're not really worried about the finances because we already feel like we're doing what we want. If you're stuck at a job you hate, you're going to feel a lot more tied down and not free compared to the person who isn't getting paid nearly as much as you, but gets to do what they love every single day. And I get to see that every day here in Hawaii. A lot of these people are not making a lot of money, but they're living in a beautiful place and they're doing what they love in a place that they love. And you can see it on their faces. They're happy, they love what they're doing. And while they might not have the finances to do whatever they want whenever they want, you can tell they're a lot happier and they feel a lot more free than a lot of the people who are making 10 to 20 times more than they're making. And that's why skills are so important in this situation, because skills really are the gateway to everything that we're talking about. And now for the title and the most important part of this video, why building skills is the key to freedom. So first and foremost, just like money, skills compound over time. Once you learn the basics of the skills that you're trying to acquire, those things will start to stack on top of each other because you'll notice them in different environments and be able to improve on them in different ways every time you do them. A good example of that is after I developed the skill of photo and video, I find myself in situations like this where I'm in Hawaii. And honestly, right now, I'm not in Hawaii for work, I'm here with family. But I'm bringing my camera with me everywhere I go, and that gives me the opportunity and ability to improve. Even though I'm not necessarily focusing on building the skill, I know the basics of that skill, so I'm using it regularly, and it helps me become better at that thing, which translates to more clients in my business, more time to do what I want, and more freedom doing what I love. An important thing to note here is that the world pays for value, and value comes from solving problems. And the bigger problem that you solve, the more valuable that you are, or that your skill is. Skills give you leverage over time, money, and opportunities. If I was working for somebody else, I probably wouldn't be able to spend the next 2 weeks out of the country doing what I love. But because I've developed the skill of photo and video and creating and maintaining good business relationships, then I'm able to have this opportunity to spend this week and next week out of the country with my wife, hanging out, being able to film videos, take photos, and just really spend my time doing what I want to be doing. The reason that I even wanted to build a valuable skill for myself in the first place was to be able to create financial freedom, but that freedom just comes as a byproduct of learning those valuable skills and putting those things to use. All right, number 3, now we're going to talk about how we can build those skills. So we're going to break this down into 4 actionable steps that we can take to help us build these skills. So the first one is to pick one that has a good ROI or good return on investment. If you're starting from scratch and don't already have a skill that you're going after or have a good skill that you just want to expand on more, some good guidelines that I would focus on, I would say focus on something that's high leverage and evergreen. And evergreen just means something that will always be valuable. Of course, there are many more evergreen, highly valuable skills than what I'm going to mention, but a few would be communication, sales, coding, content creation. These are all skills that stack and have a massive return on the time and money that you put into them. The second, and one that I'm actually pretty bad at, one of my weaknesses, but something that I definitely want to get better at, is reps and volume. So that means whether it's good or bad, just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again. A few people who set really good examples of this are professional athletes. A recent one that I heard was that Kobe Bryant would take 1,000 shots every single practice. That's hundreds of thousands of shots that he's taking. So yes, while he was one of the greatest basketball players in the league, he was also one of the players that was putting in most of the reps day in and day out. A quote along the lines of this that I've heard a couple times is that hard work beats luck every time. So when building the skill, just practice, 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 practice. And if you practice 2, 5, or 10 times as much as the next person, then you'll find that somehow you're much, much luckier than they are. And that's not a coincidence. So step number 3 is to solve real problems. People and businesses don't want to just spend money on you. They want to spend money on you because you're going to solve a problem for them and make their life easier in one way or another. Of course, in every market and in every product, there are problems that always need to be solved. And an example of this is you'll see that a lot of higher quality clothing companies will offer lifetime warranties. One of the problems that a lot of people would have is that they would go buy clothing and they would find that within just washing it a couple times or wearing it a couple times that it would be ruined. And so these companies that offer lifetime warranties, no matter how much their product costs, people are going to buy it because they know that if anything happens to it, the store is going to be willing to replace it for them. And just that peace of mind alone inclines people to spend a lot more on these products. All right, step number 4 is monetize and scale. So for the first little bit, you'll notice that you have to trade time for money, even on highly valuable skills. But eventually you'll be able to get to the point to where you can monetize on those skills and scale. So for me, for the first couple of years in my photo and video business, I was trading my time and my skills for money. And I still do that in a lot of ways, but now I've been doing it long enough to where I have opportunities to build my business more, to offer consulting and mentoring, and to help and teach others. Especially when you start to mentor or teach or consult in a group setting, then the sky's the limit as far as how many people you want to teach and how much money you can make in a shorter period of time. So something that I really want to hit on here, and one of the last points I'm going to make, is the cost of not building a skill. So of course, building a skill sounds all fun and good, but then when it comes down to it, you don't want to put in the time, you don't want to put in the effort, and you think it'll probably just be better if you see where life takes you. But the reality is, unless you do something about it, then you're not really going to get anywhere, and you're not going to be able to see that massive progress and that freedom that you hope to see. I also want to stress the importance of not wasting your time on building skills that aren't valuable and building skills that aren't evergreen and aren't going to serve you in the long run. If your job or the skill that you want to build is going to be replaced by AI in the next 6 months to 5 years, then I wouldn't recommend going after that, because you're just setting yourself up to put a lot of time into something that's not going to have a huge return on investment in the long run. We're starting to see that automation and AI are starting to wipe out a lot of these basic skills. And without these valuable skills, you're depending on someone else's vision of your life, and you have to follow after that. So if you can't decide what skill to build on or to go after, just know that building something is always going to be better than not doing anything at all. All right, number 5 and the last point that I want to touch on is the compounding effect of skills. A lot of skill sets, especially in the world of being a creative professional, you'll find that a lot of these skills that you're building are very transferable and will help you learn other skills easier. And the more of these skills that you build, the easier it becomes to acquire some of these new skills. And you'll find that when you couple these skills together, the sky's the limit, and the ways that you grow are exponential. And now just for a couple of my final thoughts, I just want to say that I know you're on here because you want to create a life of impact, of meaning, and you want to be fulfilled in what you do. Something that I want to emphasize is that when you build these valuable skills, you're not just gaining freedom, but you're learning how to make the world a better place in a way that only you can. So my invitation for you today is to go after a valuable skill. If there's one that you're already building, focus on that and double down on it. And if there's not one that you already have, then go find one right now. Spend 3 or 5 minutes today just figuring out a couple of the different valuable skills that are out there and go after one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.